Jurina Star. I'm back with another vlog. Welcome to my vlog. Welcome to my vlog. I hope everybody's enjoying their summer afternoon, Saturday afternoon, and I'm here in London town having my green tea. Enjoying my green tea. And just, enjoying the peace and quiet of my evening, having my green tea. But I just wanted today to talk about why I think this summer holiday is very different than the others. I think it's very different because it feels like the calm before the storm. I honestly feel like this summer holiday is like the calm before the storm, meaning it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like an average summer. It feels like something is about to pop off. Weather's nice and all. It's nice to go to all the sites and everything, but I just feel like something is going to pop off very soon. And I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, basically. I sense something. I sense something will definitely pop off, and wondered if anybody else has noticed. So, yeah, I must have gone to an exhibition today called, I should have some notes here, Unearthed, Power of Gardening. On Wednesday, because it was the last day, tomorrow it'll be closed. And it was a very interesting exhibition. It was about the history of gardening, how, like, a long time ago in this country, they used to, like, controlled, they liked to, those maze gardens, like, they very much like to garden in grids. Do you know what I mean? Like, they like the intimate floral design and the maze, and it was seen as a hobby for a woman to do, gardening. And then I went through like all the different ages, and then went during colonial time. They made use of all the indigenous brown people that had all the herbal knowledge, but the scientists didn't even acknowledge where they got the knowledge from. They recorded. They're very good at recording, so they recorded all that knowledge without crediting them. And it was a time of industrial revolution, because that knowledge meant that they could, mass sell medicine and things like that. And then that's when they lost, like, the exhibition was so good because that's when they lost the respect for the land. It was seen as a profit-making thing. So when they used slavery to extract from the earth, they don't have that same native, like that same indigenous respect for the land. It's very much like just take, and not replenishing it. And that's why, if you look at the history of Europeans, when they farm that they don't rotate crops. They don't, like, they farm the hell out of it, and then it turns to desert. And I believe that is because of the lack of respect they have for Mother Earth, because they treat it like a workhorse. They don't understand, like, the symbolic significance of farming with the people that were colonized, and that's why the land always turns into desert when they take over something, because they over farm it. I mean, look at it now, like, they're using machines, they're not rotating. There's a lack of personalization with the farming techniques, if you know what I mean. So, and that's why the food is not healthy. Like, if you don't have that same love that you have for the earth and the plants, okay, you may yield a lot of vegetables, but are they quality? They're not. And that's what was lost during the slavery industrialization era, basically, when they talked about that. And I feel like also because black and brown people that were colonized under colonization, and this would have been the British people at the time, I feel like we fell out. I think black and brown people fell out of farming, especially African Americans, because it reminds them of slavery. Because they were used for growing watermelon. Well, they did get very rich with watermelons actually, because their knowledge was used to grow rice. I feel like African Americans wanted to get away, especially after the Civil War, they wanted to get away from that image of them as farmers and as slavery. So, and that's when they started to avoid nature because of what was done to them. And it was such a great exhibition because it mentioned that. I knew this in a way, but then and then when you went through the exhibition, there was a collective from South London called, what were they called? The Cocoa Collective, and it was just so good because they realized that people like them were not farming, were not into nature because they live in inner city. A lot of black and brown people live in inner city. They don't have that connection with like green spaces, because again, when they came back here, but again, it's because of the colonial history as well as economic ties made them designated to the ghettos and inner city so that they don't have much nature. Whereas, so this collective, this community group was set up by a woman, I think probably during lockdown, where she managed to get a space and use it to grow. And now the community go there, they help the plants grow, and they grow ethnic plants that they eat at home, like the cho-chos and the pumpkins, that kind of squash, which they use in their soap. They call it ital. The Rastafarians call it ital gardening. And there was one African American guy who was a Rastafarian, and he loves it. He loves being there. There's one dad there, bless him. He lost his son to knife crime. And if he didn't do gardening, he wouldn't cope. But it's like they naturally connected, even though they come from inner city background. The nature in them to grow plants was there, and they were growing. I actually had an allotment once upon a time. I went through an allotment stage, but I haven't really gone back to it. This was before lockdown, but I really enjoyed it. I remember I would spend the whole day. Like gardening. It was so cool. And I grew some onions. And you can really get lost in it. And saying that, I remember my allotment. Yeah, it was quite a big space as well. I had a shed, and we'd go there and would like spend the afternoon there, but I lost it for some reason. So yeah, that was silly of me. I should really have got it back. But then it's like the commitment of gardening. Like you need to go there once a week, like to make sure the weeds grow back. The weeds. But anyway, my mum's a keen gardener, so I'm always helping her, with her gardening. And she talks to her plants. And she said when she talks to it, she gets better fruit. So I'm all for gardening. And then it talked about the introduction of different flowers and stuff like that. And it was just so good. Earth is a amazing exhibition that I'm so glad I went to see. Here it is, Earthed, the power of gardening. It says here, gardening transforms our world. It can turn a barren plot of land into a thriving garden, but it can have a bigger impact too. Gardening can change our everyday lives, providing food and mental nourishment. It can help us build more sustainable, more beautiful cities and create a shared sense of community. On a global scale, our world has been changed by gardening. The international movement of plants has had far reaching consequences for the environment and human societies. Gardeners throughout history have changed our lives, cities and world in ways you might not expect. And gardeners of today have the power to do the same. And it has some beautiful illustrations that are featured. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's such a shame, like, people, it was been around since May. I just never had the time to go there. I've always wanted to go. And today was the last day, so I got myself there to see it. And it was really good. So these are all the herbal knowledge, recipes from medicinal edible plants grown by many gardeners. Peppermint, yeah. I remember reading about this. Growing our own food and herbal medicines was once commonplace and became vital in times of crisis. Gardeners have long understood a connection between gardening and mental health. Much of this rings true today. Homegrown food still helps people through times of hardship. Herbal remedies are shared, whether in a back garden or a windowsill. Gardening can bring us joy. That's the dandelion. The dandelion is the plant of all plants, people. This grows everywhere in London. And children blow it. The seed spreads everywhere. And you can also use the leaf. People use it for salad. Or, yeah, and then you can use the yellow bit for tea. That I know, when you have a bad stomach. Yeah, I think I love that. I love how, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, colonization did provide all these amazing, beautiful plants. Like, they did. I think it's great that they used it to store all the knowledge. Like, the specimen. We have a great meticulous recording thanks to, and now we can study it. We have things like Kew Garden, which has the plants of all the world. I think that's so cool. I love it. I love green spaces. I think they're beautiful. And I love natural gardens. I love people getting involved. I don't like pristine looking gardens. I don't like grids. I don't like perfect. I like messy, natural meadows. Where I live, luckily we have this amazing gardener. She has been magnificent. My God, where I live, it's changed the landscape. It's literally the Garden of Eden. We went through like we went through like a spring of foxgloves, bluebells, all sorts of like tulips, like, oh my God. And now there's like orchard food everywhere. It's amazing. I love my garden. And we've had like kids, going through it, learning forest school from it. It's just brilliant. Anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video.